And so what we do is show you some projects that we've. So all Roger Fry. So everybody is there.
And can everyone touch those?
So not touchy. But then in the end of Roger Fry, 1969, and enters the collection in 1975.
And what was these items being
hidden away and only research exactly. Only researchers will be allowed to see. So I think this one is so she exactly William Morris. Curious William, so late William Morris, very late actually.
I love the choice of colours, using the use of foliage and everything like that, and the inspiration from nature.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that reaction.
Is it silk?
Late industrial. It is silk. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I know, I'm at the outer edges of the
where was this then? How did this become part of the collection?
So, May Morris, so William Morris's daughter, May, gained a huge amount of collection in the 1920s. So it's split between ourselves, the William Morris Gallery, and the Middleton State, which is very giving. But he worked for V&A in the 1990s, so he was a kind of example.
Yeah, well, you can imagine it because he was like, this
was absolutely Ruskin, wasn't it? Didn't like its connection with industry. He didn't like it, and because it came out of a great exhibition. But Morris thought if you had an extra beauty there, and then these are for as well. So these are in the workshop as well. So in the old days, kind of family right but again, you can. I mean, the focus on nature is just absolutely gorgeous.
What's so interesting as well, you take some of these really sort of old pieces and actually have contemporary art. Some of the photographs.
Yeah.
Really from the 19th century.
Yeah.
20th century, and 1900s, and you realise actually how forward-thinking they were.
Yeah. No, you could.
Yeah.
It's got to be better with teeth.
So a lot of pieces also showcasing restorations. They don't have to be finished.
No, exactly. That's really. Your Highness, let me introduce you to Tim Reeve, who has been the mastermind of this project from a good decade now of incredible work.
What a fantastic idea to bring all these pieces to life, and actually, so they're not sort of behind the scenes and sort of stored away somewhere.
Yeah.
Only referred to in the catalogue, actually, to see them in person and see them up close. What an opportunity for everyone, really, to see historic pieces like this firsthand.
Well, that was the whole idea behind it, really, is we've got this amazing collection that is not on display.
Yeah.
But it's not like the reserve collection, it's a world-class collection.
Yes.
And so having to move it from Blythe House was a bit of a gift for us.
Yeah.
We thought we can create a new type of cultural experience, which is all about the back of house magic of the V&A. It's all the bit you don't normally get to see. So we're sort of peeling back the curtain and revealing all of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? But it's so eclectic.
Yeah.
A mixture of items here. But also, I was just saying, even just looking at behind you here, even just a picture frame and
it's
actually
my favourite picture.
But even so it's all parts of the process of displaying and curating this here firsthand.
Exactly. We really want to reveal everything that goes into looking after a collection. So you get amazing views. Members of the public will be able to spectate on conservation work, on the Clothworkers Centre, on all of the technicians who do all of the mounting of objects, all of the bracing of objects for travel, all the packing.
Archives.
So we have an exhibition from
for next year, but at the moment we're looking at the fashion permanent clothes. So we're sort of diving into the collections and reimagining them. And this is one of the pieces we've been looking at. It's an 18th century woman's riding house.
How tiny it is as well.
It's so lovely. It's British broadcloth.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, we have actually
gloves,
gloves, if that's okay. Sorry, the purple. Natural.
Look at the colour, I love it. What's the dye?
Cherry red. And well, they've been natural dyes at this point, probably a sapphire, which can be quite fugitive. But you can see there's a lovely linen lining on the inside. And the broadcloth is so tightly woven and felted that you can just cut it. It doesn't need to be hemmed, which is amazing. And they're very durable. And then you have this
And then there's these sort of embroidered.
Yes, they're metal thread embroidered, so they would have been a lot more shiny at the time. Yes. And little tiny sequins, spangles at the time, so really sort of subtly decorated, quite beautiful.
And is it just lined with water?
Yes, on the inside here you can just see, and then there's natural linen. Yeah. And
so delicately seamless.
Yeah. And it's so lovely. I mean, it's 250 years old, but in really great condition. And then this lovely little waistcoat underneath with this sort of attached belt and very practical skirt, which has this brush braid, so you take all it with sort of toe.
And what was the origin of this?
So this has actually been in the museum since 1890, so it was donated then. It's been a lovely, we haven't had it on display for quite some time, so we're thinking it might be a nice opportunity to put it out again. We've also, to just show the range of things here, we've also got a dress, which is actually a photogram. So this is from 1972, and it's a collaboration between the photographer, Maurice News's journey photographer in his work. She was awarded the signature, so we're now at 490. She wrote it, and this you just see traces of her hair, and she sort of went against the photosensitive rain. So it's just another beautiful piece. Very.
What's really interesting is sort of fashion designers and also using screen prints and also some photographs from historic painting references and then creating new fabric designs of
It's so true, yes. It's really lovely, and a lot of digital printing as well, and the rest of it. And we also have a final piece here, which is a queen piece, which you really shortly before the digital and you can, when you stand back, you can really see the genius.
Yeah, actually, the sort of familiar.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Of certain shapes, you can sort of spot them if people are familiar with a particular designer.
Yes, absolutely. So that was from 2010, and it was made for Anne Ray, also a photographer, who took all this backstage photography and used to pay them clothing. So she very, very generously after our McQueen show required some of the pieces for the collection.
And was this his design?
Yes, this is all him. He never actually made it. He didn't choose it for commercial reasons. It was just him as a size of piece. Yes, so really lovely. So just gives you an idea of the things that we
What's really interesting is seeing the embroidery. It's understanding now how modern contemporary clothes are made. Being able to have that and sort of really celebrate some of the craftsmanship involved. And I think so much focus is often on the brands, but actually the makers and the creators have been celebrated in a way. And these amusing skills that are once sort of very much part and parcel of every woman's life.
Yes, it's so true. The hands,
Sadly dying.
Exactly, yeah. But hopefully, there are lovely initiatives of being able to
Lot 263, 1979. 263.
better to shorten that.
Hello. So this is Kira and Sarah.
Hello, Kira. Nice to meet you.
And Sarah's been doing the photography of the beautiful shoe that is in this box.
So we've got
Have you photographed everything, well, a lot of the pieces that are in the collection in this way? Or
Yeah,
obviously the big items much longer.
we got allocated photography recs, and that would be either for exhibition, for press, PR, publications, that kind of thing. So I've photographed a few. We counted up today, it's about 9,500 photographs I've uploaded myself in 5 years. But it depends on various different factors as to which objects we get
And if it has been photographed in this way, is there some sort of photographic record of everything in this?
Yes, we're working on that. So as part of moving out of Lifehouse, we had quite a big team working there, taking record photographs. So what you see here is what we consider a record photograph.
Yeah.
So it's quite quick, fast. So the idea is that you have at least a picture, which is better than nothing, and of course it goes online. What our team does isn't a record photograph. We take the ones that have the wow factor. So the ones that draw in the audience, that kind of show off the texture, the shape, the details.
Or the detail, the
exactly.
embroidery on them.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sarah will actually talk you through what she's set up here. Because at the moment, you might think this looks quite similar, in the sense that this is a grey background, that is a grey background. Yeah. But the way Sarah has wrote it will show you kind of really how we do it compared to how a record photograph is
And
created.
what sort of program are you using to sort of...
To shoot, we use Capture One.
Yes.
Use Capture One yourself.
Yeah.
We use the Capture One to shoot, and then any post-production we either do with Helicon Focus to stack front to back, so shot front to back, and then Photoshop after that to do any post-production. But we don't. We would remove new dust, if that makes sense, but old dust or anything that is something about the history of the new dust, old dust, but that kind of thing, we would take that away. But any loose threads, anything like that, we tend to keep, because we're trying to do an accurate record of the object as it is.
And then in terms of cataloguing afterwards, does that image then go into sort of a bigger sort of archiving?
Yeah, so this is our DAMS, our digital asset management system. So we drop it into a folder, which then gets ingested into DAMS. And from here, some of this information gets pulled through from our collections management system, where the written information is. And then they will talk to each other.
Dimensions, whatever.
Yes,
Information.
exactly. Yeah. Then they talk to each other, and then they get pulled onto our collections online page, which is available to the public. So this is where the image ends
so
up.
you can search.
Oh yeah.
Like value sheets, for
Yeah,
example,
and you can
you
find
then
it.
see
Yeah.
all the value sheets in the collection.
Yeah.
Are there much value sheets?
I have no idea.
I'm sure it's
Yeah,
Do you want to?
Yeah. So I had a little bit of time with the shoe yesterday, obviously, to get things, because it takes us a little while to do the photography and set up the lighting. So first of all, I kind of looked at what we already had, and a bit of a description of the object. And then when it arrived, I realised that one of the most important things about it is the fact that it's got this inscription writing on the inside. You don't see that in this picture. It's a perfectly good picture, but it doesn't really show the full extent of what it's about. So as you can see in here.
How old is this? When was this?
What did we say? 1974?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you need this shoe?
Yes.
Alicia Markova.
It was Giselle. Yeah.
I don't really.
Gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very small.
And as Sarah was saying, the important thing is so what she's trying to do and will show you is to show the context of everything as well. So be able to show the inscription.
And now the fact you can see the writing.
Yeah.
And was this her writing that she wrote in?
I think it is, yeah. And what I wanted to try and convey with the shoe was an idea of movement and things like that as well. So, and obviously the ribbons are quite nice. You can sort of twirl them and make something look quite like sort of dynamic. And obviously the idea of being a shoe on point would be to, like, as long as it's stable enough, we can do things like rest it on the fishing wire that I've got across there to kind of get the idea of it on its toe as well.
So is this very similar principles to product photography?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things we can't use the product photographers use. You know, like we can't use like any sort of tape or glue or, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Things that would damage the object we can't do. And we do have to be mindful about the sort of structural integrity of a lot of our collection. We can't do anything that would ever
Can't just water.
Yes.
And also, of course, with
Get that really
products,
amazing image.
like with products, you want to make it look as kind of sellable as possible, isn't it? Whereas here, like Sarah was saying, the scratches are a part of the history.
Yeah.
So you don't edit them out. You want the scratches to shine because they kind of show how it was used.
Great. I'd love to see how.
Shall I go ahead? Yeah.
Maybe just I might need to get that way, I'm afraid. Sorry.
So it'll take
Please
Sarah.
move them out of the way, that's no problem.
It'll take Sarah a little while to set it up. So if you don't mind, I'll just do the general stuff.
Yeah.
So just kind of going by your questions around what sort of product we do, why we do it as well. Like I was saying, we've done a bit of research, kind of really trying to figure out what the audience wants from our object images. And so as part of that research, they were saying like, you really want to see how it was used. So rather than this is a perfectly nice image, what Sarah was saying, look, it's a point shoot, it should be on point.
Yeah.
And then here, one of the really big ones was in terms of accessibility. So if you're having any sort of sight issues, maybe you're colourblind, maybe you're partially sighted, if you think of this image in black and white, and then you just think of the lightness values, the lightness of this pink and the lightness of the grey are actually really similar.
Yes.
And therefore, if you're someone who needs contrast in order to identify an object, you're going to struggle with an image like this. So Sarah will show you how she's actually lighting this grey background in such a way that you get a much more contrasty picture. And then likewise, we'll be using some hard light as well to really bring up the sheen and kind of really show that this is a sort of satin, and then also show how it's been used.
Very well used and loved.
Yeah.
She was my favourite. And do you also show contextual images alongside the product, I suppose? So have you got any images of this shoot in use at the particular production?
So obviously this is a historic one, so if we had them, we would have to source them from newspapers or from the ballets where she danced. We have something what we call contemporary collective photography. So if we're collecting a contemporary item where that context still exists, our photographers get sent to, for example, a designer. We had a designer recently where we acquired some of these pieces. So the photographers got sent there, took pictures of him in his studio, making it.
Yes,
so we have that, exactly. While the context exists, obviously we can't do that for every single object, but where it's worth it, we definitely do that.
Really see. Here,
Another 12.
Ribbons, when you just leave them to drop, they do. I mean, they look beautiful, but if you twirl them, you get a real sense of movement in it and things. This is just a couple of the ones that I did yesterday too.
Yeah, so it transforms it from sort of a basic sort of catalogue imaging to something that you would see in a brochure or catalogue. Or
And then AI will just take it and build entire.
We've done a few
Yeah,
experiments.
exactly.
And at the moment, I'm not worried, but
Yeah.
Are you able to use modern technology for your advantage for cataloguing purposes?
When we're doing any retouch, we do use, like, obviously we use Photoshop. There's techniques in there that you can use to sort of, like post-produce. I've been doing some mannequin heads that are golden,
if you do
and
properly.
So I use techniques where we do a technique on a mannequin head to stop it looking like, when you light it, like the fly with two eyes. And there's a technique you can use in retouching skin for portraiture, things like that. They sort of keep the tone, but they remove all of the sort of blemishes and that kind of thing underneath. And I've used that before and everything. But I also typed into AI that I needed a golden mannequin head and it gave
And
me a
just-
stack of three colourful mugs in place of the heads.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
human brain still has. I know. I think we're going to leave it there.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Really, it's fantastic. And what camera? Can I quickly ask what camera you're using?
so this is a phase 1. It produces about 600 megabyte files. Or we'll put it on.
Do you tend to look through the screen, or are you?
So we can use
using
live
the camera?
view.
Yes.
We can use live view.
So it's just coming up. So now
Yeah.
we're in live view, so you can see exactly what Sarah's doing.
So I can frame
I mean,
it up on the screen.
Yes, rather than having to do it through the lens.
And also because if we stack, we don't want to touch the camera. Because the minute you move the camera even by a millimeter, your stacking goes out of alignment. And that way you don't have a smooth kind of stack with sharpness from front to back. So the less we touch the camera, the better.
So I've got one very small thing to show you. You can see from what was
In space. In front of
Take pictures, take pictures.
Your photo's next to that white thing. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Super. This is all fast. Nice to see that. That's Piston Pub's head of metal. See you later.
run away.
And as I sort of started to mention, what we're seeing is different. Georgia, our director. No, don't worry. I brought her downstairs. I know why, because everything is so precious. How long have you been working here? About 2 months. Yeah. And how have you found it so far? Have you found this? Yeah, because I didn't realise that it was still for storage purposes. And then to hold up those organisations together, you have to do seems like a natural transition. Question is about object items, and then is it hard to know the answers
So I teach at SOAS. These ones are that's different. That's silk. It's from Canton, so it's not from the Philippines. So I run Philippines at SOAS. So I'm very interested in these textiles that are mostly from pineapple. Yes, it's sometimes hard to determine. So I'm trying to see because these are and it's kind of feel like silk. Feels like silk, but it's very crackly. So that's how you can tell.
And is it
They make like the national dress of the Philippines is made from pineapple fiber. So they get the leaves of the red pineapple and then they scrape it and then they take the fiber and knot it. And then they weave it. So yeah, it's very interesting. Yes, and it's very expensive.
Yeah, and does it feel the same as the model product?
Well, so I'm still trying to determine if it's actually all pineapple fiber or mixed with cotton. Because I feel like it's a little bit different. So that's why
Is it a bit finer?
it's a bit more crackly. Yeah, the more. So, yeah.
So this is working for you. The order is
Yes, very much. No, it's amazing. No, seriously. No, it's amazing that because I've been waiting for 3 years to see.
You could otherwise do your own research of all the different samples but it's not the same as seeing historic.
No, but even just the process of it.
Because now they have an online